All right, here we go, for real. For real. All right. Oh, my gosh.
For Mike's sake.
What's up?
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is I am Scott, and this is
Big R, also known as Ryan.
Ryan, Big R, and we are here, and we are from Wesley Church in Evans, Georgia, and also Augusta, Georgia, and we are doing a first crack at a podcast. And
Indeed.
I'm sure that is something that all of you guys have come to hear and to see.
All two of you. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
yeah,
Thank you both.
Yeah, Mom and Dad, I appreciate you watching.
Oh, your mom and there's four then.
Okay,
Thank you.
cool.
Thank you,
All
Mom
right.
and Dad.
And so we decided to do a podcast. We think we have great ideas, and
Let's not start out with such high expectations.
and we think we have great commentary to offer the world. And actually, really, we really just wanted to talk about worship and talk about God stuff, and I think make it accessible for a world out there that I think has some misconceptions about what God could be really about. And so we're happy to bring this to you in this platform, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Ryan, you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just want, I think it's cool to kind of pull the curtain back, kind of like the behind the music, behind the service kind of ideas, kind of the thought process for me, and give you guys kind of a look that maybe you haven't seen before, and kind of some of the decisions that are made Monday through Saturday as we lead up to a Sunday morning, and then the decisions and the thoughts that are, that we go through, looking back at a service, and some things that we try, some they work great, and some things that we think are going to be amazing fall flat, and that's just all part of the process of learning and trying to understand your environment and what hits. And it's crazy because something that hits here might not hit at another church or another place, because every situation is unique. So that's kind of my idea for what this is going to be like, and kind of talk to you guys about songs and why we chose those songs and what those songs mean to me as a person, but also other people in our band and our team, and then kind of see what you guys think and get some responses.
Yeah, and so my mom and dad, they don't really know much about you, and maybe your mom and dad don't know.
Hey,
about
Mom
much.
and Dad.
So why don't you just give a little bit of background about yourself, and
Ooh, all right.
try to be modest.
It's going to be modest and quick. I'm 38 years old. I'm single, never married, no children. I've been a worship leader in some capacity for the last 14 years. And my first job was at First Baptist Church of North Augusta. I went to college at North Greenville University, which is a Baptist college, and fell in love with black gospel music at that point in my life, which is awesome. And kind of shaped a lot of my musical tastes that have come out in the last 14 years. I've worked for churches that have multi-campuses, multi-site. I've worked for blended churches that have blended services. So I have a pretty wide range of experiences in those regards. That's pretty much it. I'm a salesman in my day job. This is a part-time job for me. It's not something that I have office hours. We have a team of about 15 or 20, maybe 25 if you include both campuses here at Wesley. So I kind of work with them, and I love musical theater. I love rock and roll. I do a lot of things outside of church that are artsy. I run a small community theater. I'm all over the place. So that's a little bit about me in a little nutshell. Hey.
Yeah, and so you mentioned that you're a salesperson, and probably means that you're a good talker, smooth talker. Would you say? Do you want to drop your
No.
online dating profile for all the ladies?
No, I'm out there. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good in those streets.
Okay. So
No, Scott, you have to tell us a little bit about you, because my parents don't know you either.
I know I was about to.
Okay, cool.
So
Well, let me set you up.
yeah, thank you. And I'm pretty much, as you're a good talker, I'm not, and which is ironic.
Because you're the preacher.
Yeah, I'm one of the preachers at the church, and
Come see us.
yeah, that's a really good sales job by me. But I like to fashion myself as a better listener than a talker, and but I am passionate about what I do. So I am one of the pastors at Wesley Church, and I enjoy getting to know people, and enjoy really, as we say in worship, connecting people to their purpose, and helping meet people where they are, and leading them to where God wants them to be. And for a long time, the reason I'm in this role, in this job, is I encountered a lot of street preachers at Florida State University. Go Noles, going through a rough time right now. But where we were exposed to some angry hellfire and damnation talking, and I thought there's got to be a better way to talk about God, and really I just saw a lot of college students going the other direction, and just felt a passion for helping people see that there's a different side of God and being accessible and being real with folks and not putting on the churchies and all of that stuff. So
how long have you been at Wesley?
So I've been there. I've been here about a year,
Okay.
and came from Statesboro by way of Florida, and it's where I grew up. And I just realized I have these headphones on, and so I may look dumb, but it helps me make
You
sure
look great.
our audio is okay. So sorry.
Yeah, I've been at Wesley for 6 years. I came when Adam was there, and then worked with David, and now I'm working with you. So, of course, Pastor Greg G, as I call him, he loves that. Has been there the whole time. I came from. I grew up Baptist, and then was at First Baptist North Augusta and did the blended thing, and then went and did a multi-site over in Aiken at Cedar Creek, and then came back to First Baptist, and then God brought me over here in some capacities, kicking and screaming. And I don't mean that saying that in a bad way. I was just kind of done, kind of just put out with a lot of the ways that it was going. So, but Wesley's a great church. I love being here at Wesley, and they have a lot of great people who allow me a lot of freedom. So I'm excited about that. So
That's cool. Well, I think we should just dive right in. I think you guys, some of you who know us are probably like, all right, get on with it. And those who don't are like, who are these guys? But
on with the show.
So I don't know if you know, Ryan, that there's been a lot of controversial stuff happening in the world lately.
I haven't noticed.
And my goal is to not talk about a single one of them today on the first podcast.
Right.
Because we want people to actually perhaps listen again. But although the argument can be made anyway. The thought is, we did a song a week ago. We're actually going to release it, and it's going to be coming out again this Sunday. That we're going to, since we pre-recorded it, and it's a really amazing song. We had some people who were guest singing, and thought maybe you would want to talk about that. I don't want to necessarily reveal it. I'd let you do that, but
Sure.
It was a real powerful moment just for me to be able to record it and be a part of the process of doing it, and kind of what the thought process behind that was with you.
So the idea was, during this time, during this season where we've been online so much, you kind of are always looking for, and even before that, you're always looking for something new, something fresh. Let's switch it up. Let's change the game here a little bit. And we had planned on doing a cello a couple of times, and it just, for whatever reason, it didn't pan out. And so we were able to do that as well the same night. But it really spawned from when I was over here on my birthday, and we were at, this is Scott's house, by the way, if anybody knows that. But we were over here and hanging out with Scott's kids, and I was in a movie, in a play called Shrek, of course, based after the movie with Mike Myers and all that. But so just one of the ladies who was in that show, her name was Tracy Eubanks, and her name is Tracy Eubanks. Sorry, Tracy, love you. And we're really close there and really hit it off. She played the role of Dragon, and she just has a real soulful voice. And about a month or two ago, me and Rebecca have Rebecca Inman, who's our worship director for our West Campus. We have like this fun sibling type rivalry of who can find the cool new song before the other. And I stumbled on Maverick City Music and was like, whoa, this is awesome. And I sent it to her, and she was like, I know. I sent you Love is a Miracle like 3 weeks ago. And I was like, oh, man. So I went back and listened to all their stuff, and Love is a Miracle just hit me. And for me, it spoke to me a lot because in my history of music, I have such a wide variety and blend. I love gospel. I love Hillsong type. I love Passion old school. That's kind of where I got my start. And Love is a Miracle just kind of seemed to be like this big, huge pot of awesome cultural worship fusion that just fit. And so I immediately, the first time I heard the song, loved it and was trying to think, how can we do this song?
Yeah.
And so we were able to, luckily, I called Tracy and said, hey, I want you to come to my church. We're recording, and I want you to sing this tune. And she was like, anything for you, Slim. That was her name. My nickname is Slim. And she was like, anything for you. And I was like, all right, cool. And then she called me. She said, hey, my daughter's here. Kennedy's in town. Is it cool if she comes? And Kennedy was we were in Hairspray together, and we were in Shrek together. We were in Hairspray together twice. And I was like, absolutely. Come on. And I know, I mean, Kennedy's incredibly, insanely talented. And so they just kind of came over, and the band that night, this is a true story. The coolest thing about that, this is music for you. Tracy and Kennedy met those people in that band that night. Like, they'd never seen them before. They'd never played with them before. They'd never sang with them before. And that's the beauty of music. You know, I'm in situations like that a lot where I'm the only person who knows everyone in the circle, you know, in the band. And so it was just a lot of fun to kind of see us all interact, and the energy that it gave Lamar, our keyboard player, and the energy that it gave, you know, Rebecca, who comes from a more charismatic, for lack of a better term, type atmosphere culture, and Ashley Rivera, and it gave them some energy that, you know, that they didn't have, you know. And so it was just a lot of fun to record that tune. And we did it twice. That's all we sent. We did it the first take, and then we did the second take, and it was done. So it wasn't like it took us 10 hours to pull it off. I mean, we played it 2 times.
You know what? One observation I have that was really cool, for me anyway, was as we were recording, and I go back and I edit some of these videos, but just being there in the room, it was like during that song, time stood still, and it was this opportunity to just say, oh, hey, this is different, and this is amazing, and I can just take a moment to worship. A lot of times, you know, when you're pre-recording things, you're thinking about, okay, are my audio levels right? Are my cameras on? Are we recording? And you're thinking more of the technicalities of things, and it's really hard to be in the moment and just to see Lamar, who's playing keys, just seeing the expression on his face, the joy on his face, and seeing Tracy and Kennedy with the emotion and the expression that they brought. And there's just really the whole sincerity of it was just really impressive. And not that they were trying to be or anything other than sincere in what they were doing, but it was just, for me, it was a powerful moment.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand when you go on platform, or when you're in the band, or you're on one of the singers, or you're running the technical side with the lights or the sound, you kind of, for lack of a better term, you kind of sacrifice some of your freedom to worship, because you have to pay attention, like you're there doing something. You know, like the guitar player can't get lost in this moment and then miss a signal, and then the train falls off the tracks, you know. And so, but for whatever reason, sometimes things just fit like a glove, man. And like they came, you know, to the campus, and they were at the Bel Air campus, and, you know, they hit it off. We all had a good time, and it was a lot of fun. I'm excited. And the words of that song are really powerful to me.
Yeah, I was wondering if you're going to bring them up. I have them.
Yeah.
Here,
so like Beauty for Ashes. And that's an old phrase, like an old Shane and Shane song was Beauty for Ashes. Yeah. So like, I've loved that phrase for a long time. And I know that's straight out of the Bible, but you know, you gave beauty for ashes, praise for heaviness, love is a miracle, and there's one more in there I can't think of off the top of my head. I don't have the lyrics in my head.
Well, I want to kind of throw this out there to people who are listening or watching. The first verse I think really speaks to where we are today. You know, I was down in the valley before love came and grabbed me, and never thought I'd see the sun again. And without no hesitation, you became my resurrection, all the light that came shining in. And then you've got beauty for ashes. So, you know, I think many of us can attest, at least within the last, 12 weeks, even now, but then even before that in our lives, depending on our age, we've been down in the valley.
So, and I love the part where it says, I remember that morning that you were singing over me.
Yeah.
And in the Old Testament, it talks about God sings over his people, sings over you. And so I'm just like, like God's actively pursuing us, and he's actively trying to worship with us, and worship, because he's the only thing holy. So it's cool if he worships himself, I guess. But,
right.
He's actively trying to engage us through music. And I think that I've talked to Lamar about this a lot. Music's one of my favorite things because there's just it's universal language.
Yeah.
And it could be sung in a different, but the feeling that you get, you can go to Africa and listen to songs in Swahili and you can feel it without knowing what they're saying, and so it's a lot of fun, to be a part of that kind of a moment. And I'm excited that the church embraced it, and really, really seems to have liked it a lot. So it's cool. It's cool. It's cool when things come to that is a case of when plans work. Sometimes they don't, but that one worked.
Yeah, and hopefully, we are not pretending here. We're not going to take ourselves so seriously where we can't talk about the ways we colossally mess up.
Yeah.
And just kind of giving hope to, even if you're a worship leader and you're listening to this and you're like, oh yeah, I can identify with that. Because I think God's not asking for perfect people, but people who are trying to be perfect. It's like
Right.
we're all in this world, on this road, and we're failing miserably at it. But I think the sincerity with which we live and the attempt to live the way God wants us to live, in pursuing a relationship with God is really what this is all about, and leads us to our greater sense of purpose. And sort of one thing that I was thinking about, what I love especially about this song kind of transitioning is this: now I'm dancing out my grave clothes, where you lead me I will follow, you give a light that darkness can't comprehend. And I think a lot of times when we're going through the valley, we're thinking, and we can be consumed by the negative, where in doing so we take ourselves into a downward spiral. And I've had the opportunity to have a couple of conversations in different forms with folks, and there's a question that's common in both those conversations, and we'll be doing that more. But it's I think a lot of times we focus on negative, but where in your life have you found hope? Because we can all have something to feel bad about, but
Right.
we need hope. And so I say that in hearing those lyrics, to those who are listening, to those who are
Watching.
right? What is your hope? Like, what we want to hear from you. We want you to respond. This is not something where we just expect you to passively and idly say, okay, cool. But you can email us, Ryan at wesleyumc.net, Scott at wesleyumc.net.
That's a brand new email for me.
Yes.
Brand new. It only took 6 years.
Finally got it in writing, in stone. And then we would love for you to comment. I'm sure this is going to be on YouTube. We're so new. We're just kind of figuring this out.
Figuring it out, man.
So maybe you can leave a comment on the YouTube channel where it's going to go. But and also, if you have songs that have given you hope, or just something, we want to make this a community and make this interactive. So just offer that. Where have you found some hope here in the last few weeks?
Whew, man. Without trying to get too political.
Yeah, we're trying to avoid that.
I think just for me, it's life with music, because I have that vast variety of life of music styles that I enjoy. I'm immersed in a lot of different cultures, and I've kind of enjoyed seeing here recently a lot of cultures kind of banding together. There's a lot of division out there, no doubt, but there are some in some generations that are kind of coming together to see positive change, in my opinion. I would say that from a music standpoint, the other songs that we played that night are real strong. I'm not the biggest fan of Waymaker in the world, and I've made that.
You
I made
don't
that
say.
known.
Really?
I like it. It's fine. It's just not this anthem that I think is like, the bee's knees. And a lot of people really like it. I do like the bridge, though. That's one of my favorite parts of that song, because that's something that I can relate to, going through what I've gone through in my last probably 2 or 3 years on life on this earth. There have been moments where I was like, God, if you're working,
Right.
I don't believe it.
Right.
Right. I'm calling, on that. So,
Right.
but then you keep going, and he's faithful. And that's an old good song, an old Hillsong tune. He is faithful, or you are faithful. But I would say for me, I've really been into this new song called Make Room that we're going to be doing here in the next probably month or so. And it's by Community Music I think they're out of Nashville. And it's a really, really cool tune. just basically saying, I will make room for you, like, because I think a lot of time, the one positive of COVID for me has been the forced slowdown.
Right.
So, we always talk about how busy we are, I'm so busy. And don't get me wrong, I was probably one of the most busy people that, any of you may know, how many, pots I have my hand in and things like that. But the forced slowdown was a good thing for me to kind of step back and slow down, kind of re-engage with some of my family members. And I did that. And actually, ironically, I re-engaged with one of my cousins and found out that she's written 2 of the songs that we've done.
Yeah.
And that, she wrote Make Room. And I'm like, she's one of the co-writers with that. And I'm like, what?
Right.
Like, how did this occur? You're hanging out with Brandon Lake and, keep people at the upper room and stuff like that. And I don't even know this.
Right.
So that was a really cool thing. She wrote Rest on Us, the song that Becca did this past Sunday, which was killer, man. I love that song, that little halftime part. So I would say for me, the forced slowdown has kind of revealed my eyes to, maybe some of my priorities have gotten a little shook and kind of putting them back. But ultimately it's that, God's going to continue to be faithful. Even when you think he's not, even when you think you're out, there's no way, like, how can God move through divorce or suicide or, death of a loved one? How could that happen? But he does. It doesn't mean it's fun. It doesn't mean it's good or better. But he is still there and he's still faithful. So, and we had a cello on that song, so that was kind of dope.
It was awesome.
That was cool. I appreciate Chris coming out, one of my friends from Number 9. So
yeah, it sounded amazing.
I thought
it's one of my favorite instruments too.
Right? I know. I want to do a whole string section. Hey, let us know if you want to hear a string section Sunday. That'd be dope. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
Like doing like an acoustic guitar with a piano and just a string quartet.
That would be awesome.
What?
Yeah.
We do a lot of house fires with that, man.
Some people may not know who house fires are.
Good father, house fires.
That's true. Not Tomlin. It was house fires.
See, all right, let me just, this is a shift, but I have to say this. Man, do I get, frustrated is not the right word, but I giggle. I giggle on the inside a little bit because people, a lot of times they hear like, How He Loves Us.
Right.
That's not a David Crowder song, people. That's a John Mark McMillan song.
Right.
John Mark McMillan wrote that song like 10 years before Crowder covered it, and Crowder changed the words, which is whatever.
John Mark's an amazing songwriter.
John Mark McMillan's a killer, man. He's bad to the bone. His wife's bad too, Sarah McMillan.
That's true.
She's written some songs that Becca's covered at the West Campus that we've done there, and we've done 1 or 2 here as well. She wrote Let the King of My Heart. That's a Sarah McMillan song. So what's another example? Break Every Chain. Now, Break Every Chain was written by Real Regan and United Pursuit like 10 years ago, but Tasha Cobbs covers it 4 years ago, and now everybody thinks it's a Tasha Cobbs song. And that's not uncommon in life. Like secular music, that's the same. All right, for instance, who wrote After Midnight by Eric Clapton? You know that song? Do you know that song? You don't know that song?
Wow. I don't know that song.
Do you know Cocaine by Eric Clapton?
I don't.
Do you not listen to the Devil's music?
I don't listen to Devil's music. No,
Wow.
You know what? I haven't listened to a lot of Eric Clapton, so
All right.
I do.
Comment about that, people.
I know.
Get your prayer life right.
I like his choice in guitars. I can say that.
Sure, you're a Strat guy. He's a Strat guy, or
Yeah.
used to be. But anyways, I mean, there's all right, here's one. Tennessee Whiskey, right, by Chris Stapleton. That's a George Jones song. George Jones wrote that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Really?
I'm almost 1,000% certain. If I'm wrong, call me out. But I'm pretty sure that's accurate. I'm pretty sure that's a George Jones song.
But he
Here's
sings
one.
the heck out of it.
Here's
though,
one
let's
for
be
you.
real.
Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor. You know who wrote that?
Oh, I do know this.
His birthday was Sunday. Would have been Sunday. Hint, hint.
Oh, I forget. I've heard that wasn't her.
Prince.
Song. Yes.
Prince
Yes.
wrote that song. Isn't that the most amazing thing ever?
Yes.
Oh, it's a beautiful song. But anyway, so like a lot of people confuse those kind of things. And in worship music, it's very, very big because like people write songs, but then they're covered by other people. I mean, it's not abnormal. But, do your history, man. Do your work. Go find the original artist and see if you like it. Like Waymaker was written by a lady, I think, from Africa in like a completely different language, and the original version sounds way different than the way that the versions that we all know and love.
I heard it was from a guy in Nigeria, but
Is it a guy? I know
don't
it was written by a person from Africa. I do know that.
But it's and I think as we explore and experiment, and you guys give us feedback and tell us what's working and what's not, just to kind of explore the origins of some of these songs too, just like how we're using them and what it means to us, but just the origin of the song, I think might be interesting to delve into as well. And
yeah, it could be cool. Like How He Loves, when John Mark McMillan wrote that, he did not write that song to be some big, huge worship anthem.
Right.
Like he wrote that song out of frustration and anger, because his friend had passed away.
Right.
And so like he's told this story before. I've seen him in concert. He was just like, I didn't really intend for this to,
Mm-hmm.
and he still sings it that way. He doesn't sing it like, this big, huge anthem, it comes from a place of brokenness for him.
Right.
It's
like a diary song.
Yeah. And if you really listen to the words, they're kind of deep, really, really, really deep. But then it just has a really catchy 3/4 chorus, and bang, there you go.
Yeah.
That everyone knows immediately.
Right.
So it's real singable.
Right. My kids will, if they hear it, they'll instantly sing it. So
Yeah, I heard Russell, and Russell was singing a song the other day, and I was like, okay, then. I don't remember which one it was. I've heard Ella singing "Rest on Us" a couple of times.
So I have two kids, 10 and an 8-year-old, 10-year-old Ella, and 8-year-old son Russell. And why don't you tell them what you saw when you came in to record this podcast today?
Nope, not going to talk about it.
You're not gonna do it?
Nope.
You don't want to say that Russell was just
In his tidy whities, don't want to talk about it.
tidy whities, just
Making it happen.
getting some coffee.
He did
for
go
his-
put on clothes though before our buddy Mike, who's here running the tech for this, got here.
Yeah, Mike.
So you're welcome, Mike. I gave him the business.
And if you're watching some of these conversations that I'm doing, you may hear me screaming to somebody off camera, and that's Mike. And we've kind of got a thing that we do where we yell at each other on and off camera. So
I don't yell at Mike.
we're very grateful that Mike is here to make us look not terrible.
Now Mike has yelled at me,
Yes.
but I don't yell at Mike. I will tell you, just to wrap it all back away around, my favorite part of that night when we recorded Love is a Miracle and Rest on Us and Waymaker was when we got done with Love is a Miracle. And that night, so our lives now are crazy, like with all the, filming and everything that Scott's had to do. And so he hits me up and he's like, hey, I'm going to bring Ella with me, and Ella's going to come hang out. And I was like, all right, cool. Let's do it. And I had invited a couple of the band members who weren't on platform to come hang out also. And so she was there, and we get done singing it, and I walk off stage and I was like, Ella, did you like that one? And Ella looks at me with this big smile. She was like, whoo, I about fell out.
Yes.
Completely unprompted, completely I was
about
like,
to faint. She said,
I'm about to faint. I'm about to fall out.
Yeah.
So she, and children don't lie, man. I've also walked off stage and been like, you like that? And, kids been like, nope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next, next question.
So actually, and maybe just wrap this up. It's kind of a known funny thing about Ryan that he doesn't like fast songs.
Oh man, here we go.
Here
we go.
His thing is like it's the crooning ballad where it's beats per minute is under 100. No, that might be too fast.
Oh, here we go.
And so basically, like Hillsong Young and Free is out, North Point Inside Out's out, and so we have a challenge for you. We want to challenge you to see if you can provide a song that Ryan Abel will like, because we're gonna get some. We all know that they crush the really anthemic, crooning ballady songs, but we want the peppy ones too.
Listen, I need to defend myself here. I feel. Here's the deal. I don't mind upbeat tempos. I mind overproduction. I'm not a big fan of dubstep or anything electronic. It's just not my bag.
You're a purist.
I'm not going to say I'm a purist, but to me it removes the authenticity of it. For me, that's my personal opinion. We've played songs that are upbeat that I don't like.
Right.
That's just real life. And in the position I'm in, you can't just pick only songs you like, or we'd play the same 10 songs and everybody else can just live with it, So you have to move around. But at the same time, I don't want to be in a situation where I'm playing something that's disingenuous and I'm kind of like, I don't really like this song. I have to at least identify or lock in with it. And so words are big.
I think it's important you say that, by the way, because I'm thinking somebody might be listening or watching and thinking, I mean, he just admitted he didn't like Waymaker. How is it disingenuous that he's singing that song and we know that he doesn't like it? I think that what you just said is important.
Well, so for me, it's not about liking. So I can live with a tune, but I cannot love it. Like, and I like Waymaker. Waymaker's all right. Like I've over exaggerated how much I don't like it probably, and just for effect. But like when I get in my car and I turn on some jams, Waymaker's not on that playlist.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean that I can't be moved through those lyrics or moved through that, process or those songs and that the environment that you get into, because it does directly speak to other people.
Right.
And for me, the ballads or the big songs or the power songs is because that's where my sweet spot is. I'm trying to say this properly. I'm pretty authentic when I lead worship. I try to be extremely authentic, maybe sometimes too real. But it's harder for me on faster songs because it's more, I don't like faking energy, like woohoo,
right.
And so like I have to really be like, that's a bad to the bone guitar riff, or I love this little bass, like there are things that I can get into. But it is absolutely harder for me to find upbeat songs that I like, because a lot of them have that, like there sounds like there's 15 piano players on stage. How is that even possible? There's only one white guy chilling with a, with a 2-stack Nord. How is he making all these noises?
Because the Nord can make 15 sounds.
Well, the Nord is where the Lord is.
That is right.
Hashtag.
We
sponsored by Nord Piano.
Yeah. And if you would like to send us a free
they're only $5,000. Send us one.
Stage 3, we would love it.
All right.
So yes, that's the challenge.
I'll listen, but I'm not promising they're making the cut.
Let
me throw that disclaimer out right now.
So yeah, and I hear what you're saying about not being overproduced.
Because you have no idea how many times people come up to me and hit me with songs, man. Like in songs that, like, I'm
friends are friends forever. For the Lord's the Lord of them, man. Don't you want to sing that,
buddy? Nope. No, I don't. I had a guy come up to me one time, not at this church, at another church, and straight up was offended that I was like, I don't think we're going to play that one. So hindsight being 2020, maybe I should have been like, I'll consider it and smile and walk away. But I don't want to get his hopes up.
Thank you for your suggestion.
I was asked one time to sing "Thank You" by Ray Boltz at Wesley.
Really?
Yeah. So that's within the last 6 years. So A, that person probably doesn't know the story there, but B,
we might have to cut that one out. But
B,
Well, there is something to be said about knowing your audience, and and there's sometimes that there's songs that, and it's not to denigrate or put down the song. Maybe it's a good song, but it may not be the right fit. And so when the song isn't chosen, it's not to say that it's not okay or that there's something wrong with you for suggesting it. It's just that maybe it's not the right fit.
Right. Or it's just not the right season or whatever it may be. But I will say that throw them out there and challenge us, because the band, God's blessed us with a lot of great musicians. So there's not much we can't pull off if we need to. And I don't say that in an arrogant way. I say that in a grateful way, that we have just musicians that are just top notch at both campuses. And so, and they love that kind of stuff. They love challenges, like Reno and Tom Reed and all those guys are like, man, this song's really hard. I mean, and then they complain about it for 30 seconds and they're like, I'm like, all right, well, we just won't do it. They're like, no. We want to do it. I was like, well, then be quiet and do it.
and Lord knows that what we experienced at Christmas Eve, they can rise to the occasion. Right?
A little Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah,
that's
was
right.
Awesome.
Skun's gonna know.
Yeah, we got to put that out as a video.
I got all kind of grief from Reno and Tom about that.
Oh, really?
Oh, you don't even play guitar, bro, and you picked the hardest guitar song of all time. And I was like, yep.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah.
And then they slayed. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That was a really Christmas joke. See, slayed and slayed. Right.
That's very.
It's not as cool because I called it out, but still.
It's for the dense people like me who didn't get it the first time.
Indeed.
All right. So I think that's probably a good stopping point. I don't even know how long we've been going. But,
I have no idea either. I've been known to talk longer than I think.
So you're okay.
Like I think I've only talked for 5 minutes,
Right.
but it was been 10. I've been known to do that. I'm not good at keeping track of time.
You could also interpret that as saying you don't think before you speak, or like you.
That is also true.
Eventually, you're speaking beyond your thinking. So.
Well, that's whenever I'm talking, most of the time.
All right. Well,
that's what keeps the people going.
we hope that this is a okay, decent first crack at it. We know that some of you may be hitting Ryan up on Bumble and hearing that he's
Wow.
he's single and ready,
Wow.
ready to make.
Unbelievable. Can we leave my personal life out of this?
You brought it up.
You asked me about myself. This is important.
What's
Now, listen,
the best dessert you've ever eaten?
The best dessert I've ever eaten?
Yeah.
All right, your wife's going to be upset because it's my grandma's homemade apple pie. But
right,
number 2 on the list is whatever that chocolate ice cream thing that she made for grandma's birthday.
Nobody can compete with Grandmama's.
For real. And it's like legit, like she slices the apples instead of just
Yeah.
leaving them big. My
I'm
grandma,
not
grandma, I love you.
I'm not going to begrudge anybody for
Grandma Abel in the house.
loving on their grandma.
And banana cream pie is probably number 2. So Laney's probably number 3. But that whatever that thing was,
Chocolate eclair dessert.
it was exceptionally good.
Yeah,
Like I asked for the recipe the next day,
you did.
and I have unsuccessfully tried to make it.
we had a nice chuckle about it. I was like, wow, he really did like it. Anyway,
I did.
So
There's 2 things in life I don't lie about. Number 1, Gamecock sports. Number 2, food. You write that down.
So score prediction or schedule prediction. What do you
For Carolina,
for record? Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. Well,
That's not on topic.
That's the name of our podcast.
I don't want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Hashtag I don't want to talk about it.
Hashtag.
All right. Hey, we'll see you guys Sunday.
Yep.
If you got any ideas, let us know. We'll keep it real.
All right. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Right.
See you.